Hey everybody, my name is Joel Gaff Jr. and I'm here to share with you my story of how I have started to try to become a software developer. We'll see where it goes, but this is my story and hope you enjoy some of it or find some of it useful or at least entertaining. My journey all started about 6 months ago when I signed up for a 12-week-long course on edX via Harvard's extension. Their online free kind of classes that they offer. I signed up for this class called CS50, which if you've done any kind of if you've tried to become a self-taught software developer, you've probably come across CS50. It's an extremely popular course that Harvard offers. And that's kind of where my basis has come so far. But let me take you a quick step back and tell you kind of how I got to the beginning of CS50. So it all started actually when I was reading the book called Deep Work by Newport. And in one of the opening chapters of the book, it's been some time since I read it, so don't quote me on this exactly, but in one of the earlier chapters, Cal talks about this gentleman who wanted to become a software developer, a programmer himself, and he locked himself into his office and over the period of, I think it was 6 months or 9 months, maybe a year, read a ton of books and went to a coding boot camp and became a software developer, aka he got a job. That's what we all want to be. We don't just want to do this for fun necessarily, but this guy got this job all by just putting this deep work in and focusing. And I thought, holy smokes, that's pretty intense. And then I thought, well, hey, I'm a big fan of Basecamp. This kind of newish email program out there. And I'm a big fan of that whole Basecamp family, and they always talk about Ruby on Rails, and they talk about how great it is for web development. And from there I thought, cool, I want to learn Ruby. Why don't I learn Ruby? Well, I started to dig around in it and realized that I should probably get a little bit more background in programming fundamentals, if you were, and Ruby wasn't necessarily the place to start. I should learn kind of the basics and the foundation. So I got on Google, did a little searching, and that's when I ran into CS50. And I think it's a 11 or 12 week long total course is how long it takes. And it's all free. You can pay for a certified certificate, which actually I decided to do. But it takes you through everything from CSS to C programming language, Java. It really seems like a good foundation. I'm only about 7 weeks into the 12-week program, and I'm 6 months of time into the program. So that's kind of where I'm at so far. Initially, I was able to devote a really full 20, 25 hours a week to CS50, and I was plugging through about 1 week for one actual week, one course week for an actual week of time. But then some of my day job responsibilities caught up with me, and I had to spend a little bit less time on CS50. Then the holidays came in and life kind of got in the way, if you will. And some of those weeks, those CS50 weeks, turned into 3 or 4 weeks. And recently I've kind of fallen into this cadence of one CS50 week is about 3 to 4 actual weeks. But I'm okay with that because I'm really making progress. And honestly, I found it actually helpful maybe to a degree because it allows me to kind of soak all of this knowledge up rather than just plugging through it and trying to go through the course as fast as I can. I'm always thinking about whatever the programming lesson of the week is or whatever the lesson of the week is. For example, currently I'm just finishing up the SQL lesson, and I'm also an avid runner. And when I'm out there running, I'm constantly thinking about these search queries in my mind, and I get home and I kind of play with it a little bit more. So I feel like I'm kind of soaking it in better, almost doing it over a long period of time, not necessarily 1 week of actual course time to actual calendar time. So it's taken me a little bit longer, and I've still got 3 or 4 more weeks to go, plus the final capstone project, which I anticipate will probably take me a couple of months. But in the end, I really feel like I'm going to have a really solid foundation, hopefully, in computer programming. I can take that, learn some of the things on my own, and maybe at that point in time, learning Ruby and Ruby on Rails will be a little bit more appropriate for my skill level. So that's where I'm currently at. Maybe I'll share a little bit more with you guys about some of the lessons I've learned. I'd love to share more with you kind of where I've gone in this journey from an absolute zero, I really barely know anything about computer programming, to hopefully maybe someday becoming a software developer, and kind of where I've gotten to where I am. And my screen just went black on my monitor, so you've lost my wonderful backlight. And we'll bring it back in just a few seconds. But anyway, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll be able to share a little bit more with you next time. Take care.